Alright, so here are the teams. So one thing here I want you guys to look at is you have Puck, who I'm very familiar playing with, and you have Blitz. And with Blitz, I haven't played with Blitz any, if at all. But you also have Ballistic and WD, who have very different hangers. Ballistic's hanger is very much geared towards champion, and WD's hanger is geared very much for the lower league that he's in. Now, the reason why I'm able to play and contribute and frustrate players the way I do is because my goal isn't to get high damage. My goal is to be effective, and to be effective is to be frustrating, to be irritating. And right now, what Ballistic and WD aren't doing is they aren't playing together. Where Ballistic's running his Hellburner and WD is still hanging back. I mean, if you just saw that a second ago, he's still over 500 meters away. So now you have Ballistic dropping in with his Inquisitor. There's still a huge distance between them, and there is zero line of sight. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to push Ballistic out from behind that rock to where Puck can shoot at him. But here at this point, Ballistic's fine just hanging back. With Blitz, I'm not able to predict or communicate with him on what he should be doing, so I'm just reacting off of his actions. So here with this coming around with stealth, all that's going to do is force him out from behind the rock. And from right here, I'm just trying to lock him down and keep him out in the open so that Puck can take him down. Again, WD has line of sight on me and not anyone else. And here at this point, I'm just waiting to see how they move because everyone's behind cover or using their shields. So now what I do with this bot is I just frustrate. Ballistic knows how to handle it, and all he's going to do is get stealth. But if you look at where Puck is now, Puck's coming in at almost a 90-degree angle on it. So at this point, Ballistic is either going to have to sit there and just eat those missiles that I'm shooting, or he's going to have to try and step out and engage with Puck. So here he chooses to engage, but now Puck can just aim and hit. And so now Ballistic's behind his rock again, and so now he's stuck. He had just used his stealth, even though he locked him down, and now I'm just letting him eat it. Another reason why I shoot the rockets the way I do is what that does is, instead of having 4 missiles hit at once and then a pause, by shooting the missiles like this, it constantly shakes the screen of whoever those missiles are hitting, which makes it really hard to aim and adds to their frustration, forcing mistakes. And so here you have Blitz engaging WD when WD should be with Puck. Because with the Mender and the Ancelot, that's a pretty hard thing to deal with. But this is also where Ballistic and WD don't really play together. WD's doing his thing, Ballistic's just doing his, and there's no one backing up anyone else. So now all I'm doing is just taking the attention away from them until Puck can get close enough. Now with these 4 Hydras, I'm not going to take anyone out with these unless they're already low on HP. But what I do is I just wait and I try to hit them as much as I can and as often as I can, so that my teammates will have to face a bot with half its HP gone, or maybe more. Another thing I also like to do in most of my attacks is I like to create angles where 180 degrees between me and a teammate is unrealistic at best, but having them have to choose between 2 targets that are 90 degrees apart is actually very effective, especially with bots that have a frontal shield, like the Bulwark or the Lancelot, or even the Bulgasari. So at this point, WD is the last one left. The reason for this was because Ballistic is the stronger player. He has higher level bots and weapons, and he has the meta bots and weapons where WD doesn't really have those. And at this point it becomes a 3-on-1, and it doesn't matter if I contribute or not at this point. And that's not a knock on WD or Ballistic or the way they play together. It's just the reality of the situation. Because if you look at the levels of these bots, Blitz has the lowest level bots and weapons. And if I had stayed on the menu after this, you would see how much higher levels WD's bots and weapons are from mine. And then that's game. And here you see how much damage I did, which is not much at all. And at this point, Ballistic is out changing his hanger, and he'll be back in a few seconds. So again, my job in this game is just to back up Puck. Puck is a very straightforward style. He always wants to get up in your face, and so I just have to make his job easier. That's all I have to do. And that was the littlest one running through the hall. Right, so now I could be shooting at WD, but what I want is ballistic. Because that's who Puck is engaging with. At this point, Puck is right there at the base of the building, but ballistic got stuck on the roof for some reason. So at this point again, it is about eliminating ballistic. His bots can easily take out mine. I mean, if we were to play one-on-one, I may destroy one or two of his bots, but there's no way I could beat more than that. And so here, if you look, WD and ballistic are actually starting to play together at this point, where they're forcing me to choose between targets that are between 50 and 90 degrees. And WD's setup is actually really good on his Natasha. Both weapons are ranged to 600 meters. He's got the tridents on it I think he has a trident on it that have the splash, but those spirals are just pick and pick and pick and pick, and he uses it really well, similar to the way that I use my hydras. Now at this point the problem is they're too far separated, and ballistic went too far away from WD to be able to support him without line of sight. So now at this point I just sit and wait. There's no way I can get around ballistic and WD with those missiles. I have to use stealth to come around. So right now, all I'm trying to do is stay out of line of sight at this point. There's no indirect fire weapons, and so all I want to do is get close. And here I'm doing the best I can, just because, well, that happens a lot in Heichi, especially with a lot of energy weapons. And here Ballistic does a really good job playing defensive, making Blitz and Puck come to him. And that Bender he has is such a pain in the ass to deal with. And here you can see just how strong Ballistic's bots and weapons are, and how smart he plays them. And at this point, I'm just trying to lock him down. And there I was, I stalled him long enough that Blitz and Puck got around to him. And that's game.